So talking about HR as a field, right? How has HR evolved as a function in the couple of decades that you've been a part of it?
From personnel department to HRD to HRM to HR to people, I think it's gone through various stages. Like, one could get evaluated upon doing the real the tangible part of HR initially, like make personal files, do design PMS, performance management forms, design learning and development activities. It was there, and I think from there then came this whole thing about HR can actually be a partner to the business. About a decade ago, HRBP, HR business partner, was like the word which is everywhere. And I think that was I would call that as a big transformation for HR. From a secluded function, it started to get integrated to the larger organization. I think to that extent, HRBP was a significant change in the HR fraternity. I mean, one realized that one could really add value to the business by working closely with them, understanding what the business needs and what is it that one can contribute. Prior to that, it was more like, okay, you recruit people and you design certain things and you're doing something of your own.
And I think a lot of barriers have broken down because of that, because HR started acting as a business partner and not as an outside function.
For sure. I mean, I think that was the first big step towards really inclusion of this function into the regular scheme of the business. I mean, I'm not adding color in terms of what HR did earlier and what HR is doing now, but this transition for sure is a very important step in how HR, the complexion of human resources function changed. Thankfully, it is no more like HRD and personnel and stuff like that.
It has changed the face of business actually from.
At least now, after this whole concept came into being, it's great that HR people know that, okay, this is my framework in which I can actually make a meaningful contribution to the organization. I don't think it was that clear earlier. And we all have to thank obviously the.
True. I mean, that's the interesting part, because HR is no more looked as a support function, but it can also contribute directly to the overall business. I mean, that's where the HR business partnership came in. And I think that has made a damn good effect.
Yeah, I mean, no one would like to be called a support function. But you know what, I mean, even if we take away these nomenclatures and these big words around, like, okay, support function, non-support function, whatever, but the fact still remains is that very few HR teams really generate revenue. So to that extent, there will always be a distinction between the businesses which generate revenue versus functions which do not directly generate revenue. But living with that difference, I mean, that's diversity. So
absolutely. True. What do you think are some of the current challenges the HR industry is facing in these times?
Diversity.
Okay.
Of different kind of workforce. We are not completely in a state where, especially India, like it's not, there's a huge representation of millennials. We still have the Gen X and the Gen Ys as employees, and that the heterogeneous mix is quite a mix. You have these people coming in to work who are just about in the start of their career, and then you also have the yet still ambitious 40-year-olds who are holding important positions. How does one bridge that gap between even if it's like a manager and an employee, or supervisor and an employee? There's to be first an understanding and appreciation that these are different groups of human beings, born in different era, coming to work in a very different time. And then of course there are the usual, the artificial intelligence, the robotics, the machine learning, and and all of that. It's very interesting time, I think, for HR to
I mean, change the look of things altogether.
Absolutely. Like, imagine, like today we are only working with human beings and we're talking about diversity. In a few years, we're going to have human beings and non-human beings as workforce. I mean, that's real diversity.
I mean, how do you manage the non-human beings?
How do you manage them? But they're going to be a significant part of the workforce. One cannot deny it.
True. So coming to the diversity part that you spoke of, what do you think India is at? What stage India is at when we talk about inclusion and diversity? Do you think it has flown into all? I mean, is it an accepted thought process?
I think India is in an extremely interesting point of diversity and inclusion. I mean, there is so much change in terms of the economic developments in the last decade or so, where there are so many people who are moving from semi-rural, semi-urban places to cities. Completely different workforce, completely different culture what they bring in. There is so much happening about women empowerment, equality, and we're still seeing so many women who aspire or aspiring in India, and they're coming in, joining the workforces, coming in from very different cultural backgrounds, yet having aspirations, like anybody else, managing those aspirations. I remember last year there were these few girls who came from one of the tier 4 cities, working in Bangalore, and for them to transition from the kind of background that they came in and into the city, and to feed back to their families about the kind of life that they were leading in Bangalore, to align them to appreciate that it's difficult for a girl to live in a city alone and work in an organization. Like, how do you really bridge these gaps? Because unless one lives through it, one doesn't really understand that what's going on. So how much challenging is it for those women? So I think it's very interesting. I mean, the workforce is going to significantly change, and then there are obviously the other other diversities and skills, gender, abilities, competencies, all of this put together. It's really very, very, what's the right word for it? I'm struggling for an adjective or a metaphor for this. Like, it's as good as it can get.
Right. It's progressive.
Absolutely progressive.
So our mindset, the corporate mindset is changing towards inclusion and diversity, and I think that's at least one place where the change has started.
Yes, for sure. People are waking up to it. They're making efforts to make diversity and inclusion a priority. There's something or the other going on. People are making so many changes in their offices so that they can house people with special abilities, different abilities, and include them as a part of workforce. Which is amazing to see all of that. And I'm not saying it from the point that, oh, you know what, we are including everybody, but this is natural progression of a society. And we're seeing it happening.
Yeah. I think that has a lot to do with the way HR has been working, the way they've been pushing the whole mindset. Because the business, I'm assuming the business does not really have the time to think of inclusion and diversity, but that is where the HR is making an impact and trying to push this whole.
I would say it's happening both ways. Like, there are leaders in organizations, businesses, where they want to make this a priority. I myself have worked with somebody very, very senior, business person, who actually helped the organization to bring the diversity policy in life, policy to life. And it came from the business. It was not an initiative that HR went and said that we want to do something like that. And it wasn't support, it actually came from the business leader.
That's terrific.
Yeah, absolutely. It just goes to say that somebody else is also thinking, despite that not being on their agenda. It may be on our agenda as HR people to work towards diversity, inclusion, etc. But it's not on the agenda formally for the business guy. But he's thinking about it.
Okay, so HR in fact support functions within organizations. Sometimes people tend to crack jokes about the support functions. Have you heard any, or have you to deal with any? Did you have to deal with anything like that?
Don't we deal with it every day? HR ko kya pata hoga? So I'll tell you a real life anecdote. So a couple of years ago, I was hiring the chief of function for investment banking, and so there was this mergers and acquisition vertical, and I was hiring the head of that vertical. And there was this very sweet investment banker who walked in for the interview, and everybody wants to impress in the interviews, and it's quite natural. So he was talking about a few deals that he had done. Unfortunately, he didn't realize that there are some people who believe in diligence. They do their homework. So and in a market where the number of deals were anyways limited, it didn't take much to really read up about what really happened in those deals, and what was read and what the candidate was speaking were completely different. And so then I happened to tell that person that my reading of the deals say that this is what actually had happened. So where was your contribution? And I could see that startle in his eyes and the shock, like, "Ye HR hai, isko kaise pata hai?" So I mean, answering your question about people crack jokes about HR, it's a reality, occupational hazard.
Now, would it be right to say that not a lot of HR professionals go on to become the CEO or the MD of an organization? What do you think could be the reason, in your opinion?
I think working closely with business and actually running a business are two different things. I mean, I'm not saying that just because you're not running a business, you cannot run a business. But I'm saying if an organization has to make a choice between a person who's been running a business and a person who's been working closely with the business, I think it's for sheer ease that the organization often chooses the person who's been running a business. And hence the CEO roles typically go to people, who have been running businesses or profit and loss. But having said that, I think in the last few years we've seen several people from HR at the leadership who have taken business leadership roles, either in addition to their HR portfolio, or they've completely relinquished their HR portfolio and have gone and run the business or are running businesses. Right. But yes, I mean, I would tend to agree with what you said, that the numbers are far and few. There could be more. I guess somewhere people in HR also, they need to project themselves as somebody who are capable of running businesses, if that's what one aspires to.
True. Yeah, it boils down to personal likings of people. Okay.
And making oneself able.
And making?
Oneself able to do that.
Absolutely. True. Now, you've been a part of few industries like telecom, insurance, and a couple of them more. Which industry has challenged you the most? Or you felt challenged the most?
I would say it's the role that has challenged. I'm not sure if it's about industry. When I joined telecom, mobile telephony was very new. It was nascent actually, very exciting to work. Hospitality it's an industry so unique to itself. A very different workforce. In telecom, one dealt with people from Ivy League colleges, engineers, and in the hotels, a large part of the workforce was also not from, some of them were even semi-literate. So I think it's important to be able to relate to different groups of people with ease, and people should be able to relate to the person. I would say rather than industries being challenging, I would say the roles were more challenging. When I joined life insurance industry, it was new to me. And the role was very challenging. And I found myself in the corporate functions, and in a 45,000 employees organization, I was suddenly managing the top 2,000 people and not from the industry. So I don't know whether the industry was challenging or it was a role that was challenging. Because ultimately we're dealing with people.
That's the common denominator.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, also considering that the numbers coming out in terms of unemployment, GDP, growth in certain sectors, is it safe to say that the economy is sluggish and it's not unique to India, but a global phenomena, which leads to unwanted murmurs within the organization? So basically what we're trying to ask you is, because the economy is sluggish right now, do you think our people are shaken that will our jobs be there or will it not be there, or are we looking at large layoffs in certain? I'm talking from an economy perspective.
See, every point of inflection brings with it a certain kind of discomfort. and it happens every few years. I think it eventually is the individual's capacity to absorb and accept that we are in this point of inflection right now, and we do not know which way is it going to go tomorrow. One has to that extent, one has to wait that period out. Causing stress because of this, I do not think brings clarity. So I would tend to think it's futile to really think and worry. I'm sure people with greater mind, wisdom are doing their jobs. And the effects of it, I'm sure will be visible.
So in the scheme of things, do you think HR can step in and take some sort of a baton and make them feel comfortable? Or do you think, firstly, is it our job to make them feel comfortable from that perspective?
Isn't this day or time or space for which human resource professionals are nurtured in the organization? This is the time, because this is the time to really work with people, because there's uncertainty, there is volatility, there is chaos, there's ambiguity, all of that is happening.